Welcome back to Zaka Stokvel Insights. If you've just joined us, we have tackled the importance of investing for Stokvels and the elements of good administration with my resident guest and co-host, Thabiso Masudubele from Tyvision Media. Nomzane, now you've worked with Stokvels for over a decade now. And governance seems to be a very important factor for the success of Stokvels. But what does that really look like? What is the role of government in Stokvels?
Look, I think government has a role to play in the continued advancement of Stokvels. I think the question then becomes what that role becomes. Over the past couple of years, we've had the opportunity to engage with different government departments at different levels and in different provinces. So, for instance, in the Free State province, we were able to engage with the provincial government that realized that there's potential with Stokvels in terms of investing and linking Stokvels to township economies and growing township economies. So there was a realization that there's huge potentials for being involved in Stokvels in that regard. We also engaged at some point with the Gauteng provincial government economic development division, where there was also a realization that there may be ways to involve Stokvels, given that Stokvels have this huge amount of money that's sitting in savings account. So how can that money be used to make sure that Stokvels become, role players in the different things that governments are doing? So there's definitely a role for government to play, whether it's at provincial level, at local level, or even at national level. The big question becomes government just needs to ensure that they find mechanisms to engage with Stokvels, to be able to harness the potential that sits with Stokvels, and making sure that Stokvels who are looking for investment opportunities, which opportunities has government identified? So different provinces, for instance, would have economic development agencies. Now those agencies talk about looking for investors in different projects and the different opportunities that exist. So for instance, the Department of Housing would say they've made sure that suppliers or builders, contractors need to source certain materials from local providers of material. Is there an opportunity for Stokvels to engage in that business, given that they already have some form of capital? Two can do that. But these opportunities are not known to Stokvels. So you've got Stokvels who are saying, we're looking for opportunities to invest. You've got government saying, we're looking for people who can invest in certain projects. But somehow they're not finding each other. And I just think that government at different levels just needs to take time to begin engaging with Stokvels to see where this common ground can be, and all these opportunities can then be realized.
I love how you touched on that synergy there between government and investment Stokvels as well. How does Kopano Society go about seeking that assistance from the Free State province as well, allowing government to assist them in identifying those growth opportunities? And I think they mentioned that they needed assistance on financial literacy as well and administration. How do they go about that? Should they do it on their own, or a middleman, you coming in to facilitate that process?
Yeah, I think fortunately for us, so unfortunately for them as well, it's something that we've been doing. So one thing that we can commit to is that we'll engage. In fact, we've already met with the group, Kopano. So I think the next step would be for us to then introduce Kopano to DSTIA, I think is the abbreviation for the provincial department, to introduce Kopano Stokvel to DSTIA, because I do know that there's a program that we had started with the provincial department in the Free State. It's then to introduce them to say, here's a particular Stokvel. When we were in partnership, one of the things that we sought to do is to find Stokvels that are looking for investment opportunities, are looking for financial literacy programs. Here is one such case study that maybe you as a provincial department can look at and help this thing go forward. So we definitely will act as a mediator in ensuring that Kopano gets to meet the relevant officials at the relevant provincial department within the Free State government.
I think we should have a follow-up episode on Kopano Society and how they are doing after all the interventions that you are currently implementing right now. But thank you very much, Ntate Masudubele, for just really giving us a clear view of long-term and short-term, the role of government. And thank you very much.
Thank you for having me again.
As we wrap up today's enlightening discussion, it's clear that Stokvels like Kopano Society have a significant role to play in the socio-economic well-being of its members, and such vehicles need to understand how they also fit into the investment world. Equally, Stokvels and burial societies are an important pillar of the economic value chain, which is why it's essential for business leaders to understand the inner workings of Stokvel and burial societies. If your Stokvel or burial society needs to know more about this broad topic, contact us using the details on the screen below. Until next week, it's goodbye for now.
This program was brought to you by Tyvision Media, helping Stokvels and burial societies reach their goals.